Today's episode of the Farrell Podcast is brought to you today by Talbot's Tap Room and Terrace. Talbot's Tap Room and Terrace, 787 Mercer Grove City Road, Mercer, PA. Dining hours are as follow: Monday and Tuesday closed, Wednesday and Thursday 12 to 9, Friday and Saturday 12 to 10, and Sunday 12 to 8. For reservations, please call 724 269 7687. That's Talbot's Tap Room and Terrace, 787 Mercer Grove City Road, Mercer, PA. Now let's start the show.
What's up? What's going on? Welcome to another episode of the Farrell Podcast, Season 3, Episode 11. I am the leader of the Ballhead Nation, the mayor, the landlord, Big Stiller Mark P. That's right. I got some Browns busters in here. And
Ooh.
to my left, I have my brother, the phenomenal. You know you. Better answer. Tell them who you is. They know who
Uh,
you is.
Bill Dungee, man. Coach Dunge, some call it. My dad's original Coach Dunge, but yeah, Coach Dunge here. Happy to be on here, Mont. Thanks for having me, man.
Thank you for coming through, Coach. And of course, it's your man, DJ Rich Stacks, aka the Fat Ambassador,
That's right.
King of the Big Backs. We in the building. How was your weekend, fellas?
Great, great. Can't complain.
Yeah, me neither. How was your weekend, Mike?
Oh man, I had a good weekend. I worked per usual through the weekend. Got a chance to check out the drafts, which started up Thursday, which we'll get into. Yeah, just got, and then I thought I was gonna get a chance to enjoy some good weather. How crazy is that? Now we got good weather all Monday through like Thursday, and then here come the weekend, it want to rain. But all in all, God is good. I had a
All the
fairly
time.
decent weekend.
Yes, sir.
For
How about
sure.
you, brother Bill?
Good weekend. I'm trying to think. Saturday, we actually had our fundraiser for our football team.
Mhm.
We did a little Sadie Hawkins dance for the adults. It was a great turnout. I think we had like 150 people there. It was an awesome time. Got to just spend some time with my wife, dancing, getting out there, and then my Sundays are normally my Sundays. Get up in the morning, praise God, go to church, and then we have football workouts in the evening. So like you said, weather on Saturday was a little cold and rainy there, but can't complain. Good weekend.
Yes, sir. Not at all. Me having two kneecaps that don't work. I was limited, but I talked on the phone to my baby girl this weekend, Gav. Reached out. I actually got a chance to talk to my oldest, Reese. She's working real heavy, getting ready for this next upcoming semester in college. She's going to do a summer course. But other than that, just chilled out, listened to some good music. We'll talk about a few of the songs later on in the show. But just like Mark said, enjoy some good, high quality basketball. Watch the
Hmm.
NFL draft.
Yes,
We
yeah,
about to get into some stuff because, Coach, I think Cleveland had Mel Kiper had us with an A+
A
draft,
plus,
and
A
I think
plus.
Mel is right. I think
Todd
he's right.
McShay had us, I think, A minus.
Yeah.
Raven reviews across most of the national media.
Mhm.
Um, Personally, I didn't like the way the Browns went about it.
True.
But at the end, if you'd have told me we'd end up with Mason Graham, Quinson Junkins, the fan and the tight end, and
And
then
who's that other kid?
the linebacker from UCLA,
No, no, the one that they got at 144. What's his name?
Shador
Shedeur
Sanders.
Sanders.
I,
Yeah.
I like to call him Baby Prime.
Baby Brown. Yes, sir.
No, but man, to if you'd have told me when the draft started, we would end up with that group of guys. I mean, I'm ecstatic there. So I know we got the Stiller fan here to my right. Probably didn't like it that much because I was thinking the Steelers was going to end up with Shador, man. But I'm happy. I think he's going to get an opportunity. And with our quarterback room, man, I think he'll be starting at least by the midway point of the
Midway through.
season. So.
Yeah. Hopefully Flacco can get us over the hump a little bit just to give him a little bit more time to study the playbook.
Yeah, don't sleep on Kenny Pickett, man. I would love to
True.
see Kenny Pickett go back into Pittsburgh
Small
and
hands.
do something. So
Small hands. No,
I don't be crazy, man. And we can get into the layers of theories and thoughts on what happened to Shador Sanders being dropped all the way down in the rounds and stuff. Which is quite interesting. It's multiple things being said.
for sure.
One was and if anybody paid attention to the panelists from the start of from Thursday all the way to what Saturday when they finished up,
yes, sir.
they kept saying, well, maybe he's going to learn this lesson. Or maybe it sounded like something was going on that we know
for
that
sure.
what everybody don't want to talk about. Some have. They try to humble him. And also, like I was telling Rich earlier, pre-show, when was the last time anybody paid attention to the draft beyond the second round? So they got the
Yeah.
views up. They
Yep,
have people
yep.
watching into the later rounds, which never probably has happened. Bill, what do you think about that?
I think you're 100% right. Just going on and listening to some media last night and a little bit today about the Browns. Um, I think Shador and his camp, Coach Prime and them, I think they understand they did some things that they probably would want to do a little bit differently as far as not meeting with some teams on the backside of the draft. They figured they would be a top 10 lock. And so what happens is once you get out of the top 10, if you haven't did interviews and stuff with those other teams, I mean, they're not going to invest millions of dollars. But then on the other hand, I'm just hearing a lot of the owners basically were rubbed the wrong way, some
Mhm.
different things. And, Dion's a polarizing figure. So, when you get these billionaire owners sitting up in their suites, and I'm hearing a lot of teams, the owners just said, take him off your draft board, which to me, I just don't get it. I mean, you know, his personality is a little bit different, but I mean, the dude he's grinded his whole way through. Started at Jackson
Yeah.
State, and then worked his way to Colorado. He's turned both programs around. I think he's just like any other 22-year-old. He's got to mature some, but it isn't worse than what we've seen on different occasions. So I definitely think there was some collusion amongst the owners as far as knocking his draft stock down. But hey, he's got an opportunity now, and he's with my Browns.
Yes,
So
sir.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's all the
We've
matter.
seen this multiple times in Cleveland, though. I mean, like,
don't remind
could we
me.
not could we not forget Johnny Manziel? I
Uh,
mean, like this guy. There was images of him with $100 bill, but we're not going to talk about that. But then you had Baker Mayfield that got into trouble right before the draft,
Mm-hmm.
and they didn't say he had any character issues.
right.
I'm just saying it's kind of odd to me that he would drop that low, but I'm thankful he did because we might actually have a quarterback now.
For
With
sure.
the fancy scheme, I think he's going to fit right in with the program. All you got to do is manage the ball, don't turn it over, and mm, I hope and pray Nick Chubb will still be around the facilities, man,
Yeah,
because we got some good prospects at running back.
I'm hearing the Bears with Nick Chubb.
Yeah,
Real.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
sad. That's probably my son's favorite Cleveland Brown of all time. But my man Nick Chubb, shout out Nick
yes,
Chubb,
sir.
man,
As a Steelers fan, I
Batman
respect him.
there. Yeah.
Exactly.
So
Yeah, and then Bill, um, earlier in your conversation, what you were saying, I had a viewpoint on that as well. Um, I think that they wanted him to treat it as a job, as such,
True.
and him ducking the interviews. They looked at it as okay, like it may be a game, y'all getting paid for this high paid game, but don't forget, it's still a job. You
Mhm.
duck the interview process, so hey. And I think they feel slighted by that as well. You know what I mean? That's one last
No, that's 100%. It's professional football, and some people disagree with that, and they say, "Well, you need to be yourself." I don't think anybody's saying don't be yourself, but also it's still professional. It's like going to a job interview.
hmm
You're not going to show up to certain job interviews dressed any type of way, and I'm not saying that he necessarily did it. This is all hearsay and rumors, and we can only go by what the media is reporting. And I did listen to Shador's interview this morning, and he talked about there are some things that he would do differently.
Oh,
Yeah,
So obviously he recognized and he has the self-awareness that to say he probably could have did some things a little bit differently. So if he's saying that himself, I think exactly like you said, he probably would have changed one or two things. And I think number one is just interviewing with more teams, not limiting yourself to a couple cities or a couple franchises, so that if you get past them, there's more opportunity for you to get drafted where he should have been drafted. There's no way he should have made it to the fifth round.
yeah,
yeah. And then Travis Hunter, his homie, switching
yeah.
up what you guys messed up on that pick. But I'm gonna leave y'all on
We
that.
messed
Get
up.
y'all
I'm with you. I don't think we messed up.
Messed up though because we got two first-round picks.
not my business, but moving forward, Travis Hunter, we're gonna see what he's gonna do in that. I was about to say dynamic, but that okay Jaguars offense. But they already got BTR. I play fantasy football, so I'm looking at this guy. BTR who took the top off of plenty defenses. You know what I mean? So I mean, he's going to a good landing spot and they're gonna let him play both ways. So
I mean, Travis, he's a dog. I mean, and
Yeah,
falling in Jacksonville, I think he's only what 3.5 hours, 4 hours from where he grew up.
Yep.
I think that's big for him, but I don't think the Browns were in a position where Travis Hunter would have helped them as much
or
as
made a bigger difference.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, even though I think he's going to be able, I do believe he's going to be able to play both sides of the ball this coming year. I
They,
think people trying to hate and say it's never been done. Yeah, it's never been done because you haven't had a guy like Travis Hunter to be able to do that. And no one's really done it at college. Charles Woodson did it a little bit. I remember Chris Gamble for Ohio State early 2000s
yep.
did it a little bit, but nobody was playing 100 snaps. I do think he's going to be able to do it. Whether he focus on offense and do a little bit defense, I think it'll be able to help. But I think the Browns did what was best. I didn't like it in the moment because I was pumped up.
yeah,
Thought I was going to get a Travis Hunter jersey, but once they did it and I calmed down, Friday morning, I'm like, that was what was best for the Browns. We didn't need Travis Hunter at that point. We have so many needs. I think we did what was
yeah.
best.
And I think they filled the gaps really good, especially on defense.
Yes.
With them filling that DT spot, man, like that was crucial right there because one of the players we have on the Brown squad, and I have faith in him, but he's disappointed me terribly, is Jedrick Wills. We needed that spot filled, and we might have some help there, but on the defensive side of the ball, Miles needs as much help as he could possibly get because he's one of the most held people in the league.
Yes. And I think uh, he had the highest double team rate the last three seasons. Mason Graham. Now I'm a huge Buckeye fan,
Mhm.
so he's a Michigan guy. He's dominated that matchup for 3 straight years, even as a freshman. Mason Graham's is a beast. I
He's a
think
dog. Yep.
every publication had him in the top five in the draft. So to get him at 5 and to gain an extra draft pick for that, and then I love the linebacker. I didn't, to be honest, I didn't know him until the Browns drafted him. UCLA, I think, picked 33 overall.
Yes, sir.
The Carson kid, but I think he's 6'3", 245, ran a sub 4.4, jumped a 41-inch vertical. I mean, dude is a freak. So I think the first two picks, their mantra is going to be we're going to get back to playing great defense and then running the ball, man.
The ball.
With
Fast
Dylan
start.
Sampson and Quinshawn Judkins, man, I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
Well,
Yeah.
being that you're an Ohio State guy, I know you was loving our picks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Will Howard and Jack Sawyer.
I wasn't loving them. I wasn't loving them because they ended up in Pittsburgh. But Jack Sawyer, man, me and my son was hurt. We wanted the Browns with our third round pick to take Jack Sawyer.
So he
Jack Sawyer he's a man's man. He's a dog. And then Will Howard, for you guys to get him in the six, I think he's a great backup there. He has great size there. I think he benefited a lot playing on Ohio State and having all those weapons. But I thought the Steelers did a great job there. To be honest, the running back you guys took out of Iowa, he's a monster.
I
Yes.
cannot wait.
He's a monster. The Johnson kid, like that was a great pickup. And even the Harmon kid from Oregon, I think he
Mhm.
fits perfect in Pittsburgh's 3-4 scheme. So I'm not a hater. I don't like the Steelers, but I'm not a hater. I respect Mike Tomlin. I respect what the Steelers do. And so I thought they had a really good draft too. So
Yeah.
Yeah, that was. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And then switching it up, Flathead Pistons, uh, 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 Carbon Head Pistons, Detroit Pistons. I don't care. Knicks and Five.
You're
Knicks and
doing
Five.
better than the Lakers, man.
Yes.
the Lakers, man.
Yeah, we got a lot of basketball to talk about.
Oh,
Too, man.
yes.
Sheesh.
Mm.
Man, with the controversial psych, I ain't no controversial. The refs didn't
Win is
call
a
it.
win.
It's over. We in the win column. We up 3-1. See you Tuesday in New York in Madison Square. Me and Spike Lee. I'll be sitting next to Spike Lee. Check me out, y'all. How y'all like that one? Oh my God.
That was a beater, man.
All the games Sunday were
Yeah.
tough and physical. The refs let them play the game, and a lot of those games were very, very physical. I'm like, it was looking like Emerson and Kedron all mixed in one out there. I'm like, okay, they let it really be some good Coast roughhouse jail type ball.
Old
Not
school.
calling much.
Old school.
Old school.
And the thing about as long as the refs are consistent, I love it. I just hate when they let it play on one end and then they nickel and dime it on another end.
Yeah.
As long as it's consistent on both ends, man, I love it. Playoff basketball, people can say what they want about the NBA in the regular season. Man, that playoff basketball is different. You
Mm.
see the different level of intensity, and then you got to have stars, man.
Yes,
If
sir.
you and I love the boy Brunson, man.
Yes,
Now
Yeah.
I think he foul hunts a little bit too much. I know that's your Knicks,
Hate that.
but for us little
Hate
dudes,
that.
our little dudes, I respect how tough Brunson is, man, because he's a dog out there.
Yo, I hate all that dribble. You breathe on him, all that
Jumping into
stuff.
people,
Oh,
yeah.
that gets on my nerves. Oh my
Like, just
gosh.
play, man. Just be good
Yeah.
enough to just play. Stop foul baiting
Oh,
and
yeah.
flopping.
Yeah, because Schroeder keep going in his pockets. The series started, Schroeder like, while you head flopping, I'm going in your pocket. Yeah, embodying him. I don't like all that stuff, but so far, they look pretty good in the series, and me and Stephen A. Smith is pleased. So want them blue skies. It was
Mario,
skies.
Mario Chop.
Yeah, my boys looked kind of decent, fairly well. But like I was saying earlier, before we took off, yeah, if we do get past Detroit, I don't see us making it past Boston, and that's real. We ain't beat them all year.
Optimistic.
We ain't beat them all year, bruh.
Yeah,
I
I
don't see
just
it.
I don't think you guys got enough offense if Boston's healthy. I mean, we know I'm diehard Cavs. It's gonna be hard for anybody to beat Boston when they're healthy and they got everybody. I mean, they just shooting, length, defense.
And
They
then
got now they got the championship pedigree after
Mhm.
winning it last year.
Yep.
So I don't know. I think Boston in 5. I'm gonna say if they see the Knicks, and then hopefully my Cavs will see them in the Eastern Conference Finals. So
Coach, I'm hoping and praying to go to 7. I'm hoping and praying to go to 7 because, like you said, post show, pre-show, we need them to beat
yes,
up on the Celtics. You think the Knicks can help us out? You think it can go 7?
Ooh, we shall see, because that's about the only thing suited. That's probably well, listen, hair pick, do a trick. It won't be the Knicks in 5 for that one. Oh my gosh. Yeah, man. Yeah, no.
Speaking of high quality championship basketball, them Cavaliers look like
mm-mm.
tonight after we tape this show, we're gonna go watch the game, and I think we got a sweep. We got the broom.
I'm hoping.
I'm
I'm
gonna get them
hoping.
first.
I'm hoping we don't catch that South Beach
Yeah.
flu that they talk about. But no, I love JB Bickerstaff that's in Detroit, and he's kind of like I would say the Mark Jackson to the Cavs that how Mark Jackson was with that Golden State
Golden
crew, and
State
then
team.
Steve
Yeah.
Kerr took over. I think that's how Kenny Atkinson. Because I watched the Cavs, man. It's just so much more ball movement, just so much more strategy with this group. Because it's basically the same group that was playing last year. They added DeAndre Hunter. Uh, but man, the Cavs look good.
Yes, sir.
And Miami, I was worried about them because Spoelstra does a great job of getting those guys
Coaches these
prepared,
guys up. Yeah.
coaches his guys up. But I mean, when the Cavs, what they did on Saturday, man, I was not expecting that.
Me
You
neither.
go into Miami, I'm thinking it's going to be a barn burner. Man, that thing was over in the first quarter.
I stopped watching that.
I still watch because I'm still nervous, because it's still the Heat, and you're in Miami, and I know I got mad respect for Bam and Tyler Hero. I mean, they can get hot at any second,
True.
but man, and they did it without, Donovan Mitchell had an off night.
Yeah.
I
And
mean, he
then
didn't play
Garland.
well, and Garland wasn't even
Yeah.
there. So I mean, man, Mobley just looks like a different dude, and then
Rose.
Jared Allen was balling.
J.A.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm happy with my Cavs
Yes,
right now,
sir.
man.
Jared Allen, man. Him and Mobley, they didn't change their whole. It's like the culture didn't change.
Yes.
I'm hoping that Cavaliers culture can pass off to the Browns. I'm just saying.
Hey,
I'm hoping
yeah,
it's going that direction.
hopefully it can, come over with us by the lake. But it's coaching, man.
Yeah.
Coaching matters, and I don't
Mhm.
care what sport you're in, basketball, football, baseball. Coaching matters, and I think you can look at the Cavs. They're a perfect example of what Kenny Atkinson has done. He was with the Nets, if y'all remember. He got booted out of Brooklyn with KD and Kyrie and them, and he went to the Clippers, and then he was an assistant for Golden State. He's really learned, and what he's brought to the Cavs, man. I mean, they doing it.
Different vibe.
It's a whole different vibe.
Yeah.
So
And like we talked pre-show, maybe that might get LeBron. That took him
going back,
like,
LeBron
yeah, we
finishing
got
up.
Shador there now. LeBron is. I mean, LA, y'all technically, I can see y'all going home tomorrow.
Right.
So you might as well just come back to
Going
the
back.
land, bro.
Finish your last year in Cleveland. Let's get this shit.
Oh
So
my goodness, I wouldn't bet on it.
Don't be over there hating.
And speaking of cash, did you guys see last week in Chicago, a Brinks truck was going down the road, and the doors flew open, and it says here it was an estimated of $300,000 in cash, creating a chaotic scene, and nearly 100 people rushed to scoop up the large bills with the loose bills. And The cops is reaching out, telling people they need to turn the money back in. Can you imagine that in Chicago? Now, why couldn't one be riding up Roman? You know what I mean?
Or at least on 80 when you going over to Southern Park Mall. I was just saying, like,
So
Mm-mm.
this was just a Brinks truck. So the bills weren't marked, right?
No, no.
So how are they gonna figure out who got the
you
man?
can't that
You
money
got
is
to
gone.
They done hit a lick, man. They got to chalk that one up.
They got insurance on them Brinks truck.
Exactly.
Say, fam, they straight pump faking. They
Right.
know ain't nothing coming up of that. Ain't nothing at all.
I
And
remember the days I used to ride behind them the money trucks and be like, come on, just one bag fall out.
I think we all did.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mine was just a day though.
And then we have a special segment coming up.
It's a minute with Moppy. Sponsored by the
Yeah.
fine people at the NAACP.
Ooh, not today. That's gonna be in the booth with Rich Stacks. They're gonna sponsor you. Today's Minute with Mon P is sponsored by Busy Burrow Lawn Care Service. He does a great, phenomenal, detailed, timeless job on your lawn. Hit my guy, Busy Brandon Burrow, and reach out to him via Facebook inbox, or if you have his phone number, I will provide it for you by the end of the show. But Brandon Barrel, hit up Brandon Barrel for your lawn care service.
And I'm gonna go ahead, Brandon, because I had the pleasure of working with your pops. He was one of my uncle's friends. I'm gonna give you a business name. Call it 3B Lawn Services.
Yeah, and
Shout out Brand Barrel, man.
yes, sir. Good fam,
Yes, sir.
good people. We come
Yes,
from good
sir.
stock. And today's minute with More P is Warren Moon. Fat shout out to Warren
Yes,
Moon
sir.
Definitely.
for allowing the young rookie Cam Ward to rock that number one. In the NBA, you don't have, the older guys and the younger guys having a good
Exactly.
building relationship.
Mhm.
They tear each other down, and this generation couldn't play in that generation, but not in the NFL. They have a consistent, positive, loving, loyal brotherhood. And I just wanted to shout out these black men working together to continue a great legacy of the black quarterback fraternity. So fat shout out to my man, the homie, Warren Moon, for
Yes, sir.
being a bridge to greatness and letting that young man rock your jersey and bring it out of retirement so he can continue it on. And like I said, you guys don't see that much. You know what I mean?
Nah, not
Nah,
true.
Especially not NBA.
I think you articulated that perfectly, and
Hmm.
then the fact that he showed up to the press conference and
Yes.
brought him the jersey, I think that's important, and because a lot of times as we get older and stuff, we talk about respect for the younger generation, and I think for them to respect you, you have to show them respect,
Respect.
Yes.
show that you're invested in them, showing that you care, and I thought, man, that was big time for Warren Moon to do that, not only like you said, but to actually walk the jersey out and present him, then that goes a long way, and I think as you said, but the NBA is missing that. It's always about. I don't know if y'all saw it today. George Gervin, they posted that thing. He did a great job of talking about. He was like, I wouldn't score no points in today's NBA. He was like, these guys are way more athletic. He was like, this is their time. Let's not talk about me. Let's talk about them. And I think more of the older guys need to facilitate those conversations instead of trying to pump yourself up.
Right.
It's their time.
Yeah.
You done had your time. You had your time. Let's root on these guys like Ant and Paulo and the young boy Kay Cunningham in Detroit. Like these guys is their time now. Instead of hating, maybe they would respect you a little bit more if you gave them their flowers
Hmm.
and talk about how good they are. Because the evolution of the game, we all know kids are bigger, stronger, faster.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's simple as that. So you can hate all you want, but there's seventh graders dunking and stuff now. So I mean,
Hmm.
it's like anything else, man. Give everybody their flowers. You don't have to hate, show them love. And I
So
thought Warren Moon did a great job there.
yes, sir. Indeed. What what would you say like the comparison, like the generational stuff, like it's different times and eras of everything. Like, of course, Barry Sanders ain't going to run like Saquon Barkley.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's different tools and the regimens that they go through with their training and stuff is all year round.
Yes.
Those players back then didn't have that access to the healthcare that they got nowadays. So yeah, y'all made a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Super
yeah,
dope point.
and only and the NBA it happens more so consistently than any other sport, and I don't understand that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But hopefully they
I
can.
think some of it is the game. The NBA game has changed so much. The NFL, so football has changed as far as big hits and blindside blocks. But for the most part, football is football.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basketball, the whole hand checking and the 3 point, like so much has changed where people want to argue errors. And I think that's why you get so much of it. And then in football, it's hard to say a GOAT, right? Because everybody's playing different positions. So you can have a GOAT of a position, like you may say Tom Brady here, Ray Lewis is, Barry Sanders at running back, but it's hard to say who's the single best football player.
Player.
That's really in basketball is always this conversation of GOAT because you look at it's only five positions and you try to and I think that's why there's so much of he's a GOAT because his era was better.
Yeah.
And it's like everybody's had their different eras. Like, yes, it was harder to play back when we were growing up because of the hand checking and stuff. But you think LeBron at 6'9", 270 couldn't defeat hand checks? Like, come on, man. Like
True.
he's Karl Malone size.
No.
Like and faster.
True.
So I think
True.
just give everybody their props. If you're great in your era, and this is what my dad always says, and I believe it, if you were great in your era, you would be great in any era. And that's just leave it at that. And I think you just show everybody their respect. So
Fat shout out to Coach Dungee. Last season, I brought up the terminology. I don't know if you remember much. You remember I said GOAT can be another acronym. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? It could be the greatest of a time, not the greatest of
love it.
all
I
time.
like that.
The greatest of a time, a time period.
Yeah.
Because we all know that LeBron James is better than Michael Jordan. I'm just playing. I ain't trying to.
I almost
I'm
got up
just saying,
and left, Mont. I said all that to say that
a greatest of
Michael Jordan is the GOAT.
the GOAT. Yeah, yeah. Understand?
If you know, you
Like,
know.
like they should change. No disrespect to West. I mean, but the NBA
Make the
logo,
jump man, the
yeah,
logo.
the jump man should be the logo for the league.
Yeah, come on. Like, what are we talking about?
They had a horror one with Kobe fading away too.
Well,
so I
yeah,
don't
that would
know.
be yeah.
Jordan do make the most sense.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm a Kobe fan, so I'm gonna say that. I'm
I feel
more
you.
biased towards that than Jordan.
I hear you. But I grew up in an era where I was a Jordan fan via me being a Tar Heels fan. And he wasn't even my favorite player on the team then. It was James Worthy. Like, so, yeah. The greatest of our time is more attributable to the statement of GOAT.
True. Yeah, I would.
R.I.P. Cole, but I think LeBron and Mike is in a
Like,
different
1-2.
class to me. That's just personally, and then we get into everybody else. I think it's out of those two. And what LeBron has done for longevity is unheard of.
Insanity.
But I and maybe that's some of nostalgia because that's who I grew up.
Mhm.
And I wasn't a Bulls fan. I was rooting against them.
Yeah, I was
Mike
against
is
him.
Mike, man. He's just
Man, fam, guys, I've been seeing on TikTok and a couple other sites, all of a sudden, super trending. They're talking about Wilt Chamberlain was a super athlete human. They said he was the fastest athlete at that size, super duper strong. And this different accounts from legit dudes. Like,
Rumor is 7 foot and what 48-inch
40,
vertical
yeah.
at 7 foot or 50. Some people say like if that's true, that's insane, man.
yeah, man.
I wonder what Will's time was in the 40.
Right. With that stride,
Yeah. He make it to the finish line in 2 steps.
right.
What was a bad man, bruh?
Yeah. Yeah. One of the legends. One of the legends. And now it's time.
Uh-oh.
Here we go.
Can I get some background music? Could you hear some vocals?
Okay. In the booth, with wrist stacks, what you going to do with your back? Oh, I'm sorry, my bad.
Prince. No, just saying. In the booth. This episode of In the Booth with Rich Sachs is being brought to you by the good people at the NAACP. One of the oldest chapters on the East Coast of the United States, and I
Sir.
dare to say in the country.
That's right.
Please do go through and support. Get you a lifetime membership. And if you can't get a lifetime membership, get a membership and volunteer. You don't have to be financial with it. You can volunteer your time. Time is the most precious thing that anybody on the face of the earth got. And if you could donate some of that, it will be well used for the service of the NAACP.
Shout out to the NAACP Mercer County
sir.
2273. Much love.
Definitely. This episode in Booth for Rich Stacks, we got none other than one of the most emerging female stars in R&B right now, Miss Coco Jones. Miss Coco Jones' project is called Why Not More. It was released on April 25th, 2025. And right now, Grammy nominated R&B singer debut album includes hits like Here We Go, Uh Oh, and Sweep It Up. She also did a remake of Britney Spears' song Toxic. Way better than Britney Spears did it. I'm just saying. It's Coco's acumen. She is definitely a bright star in R&B and provides sultry, soulful music, heartfelt ballads, and it's a definitely no skip album for me.
I like the one the title of the album track, Why Not More,
Why
with
not more?
the Marley brother on
Yes,
there.
sir.
I like the island feel to it, and she kills it like she kills everything else.
Everything.
The beats on there is top notch. The production is very, very crisp.
Hmm.
Yeah, Coco Jones never disappoints.
Never
Shout out to
disappoints.
Coco Jones for sure.
Fat shout. And next up, we have the artist Mozzie. His new album is called Intrusive Thoughts. Uh, Fat shout to Mozzie, man. He been doing this thing. I've been following this young dude. He's from Sacramento, California. He has tracks like Under Oath, Cat Clips, and it showcases his unfiltered and loyalty to his community. He has some passionate songs that's talking about the dangers of living the street life. Um, the title track, Intrusive Thoughts, shows you the reflection of looking back on things you regret you've done in your life and shows the optimism in moving forward and correcting your past behaviors. Definitely good. It's a good album. I wouldn't say it's a no skipper, but it's a solid project, and I'll give it a definite listen if you're into hip hop music.
Yeah, I like the homie Mozzie, bro. He's a solid, consistent artist,
Mm-hmm.
like you said, from Sacramento, the Bay Area. You know what I'm saying? And for me, I would describe him as our back day Spice One.
Nice one, yes
You
sir,
know what I mean?
yes
All
sir.
the old heads. So yeah, check out the homie Mozzie. He got good quality music, another solid project. I got one for you.
Let's go.
For all those that like power fanatics, Raising Canaan,
Yes
the
sir.
homegirl Juke
Mm.
Jukebox really sing for real. And um her name is Haley Kilgore, and she has a song, one of my favorite songs out right now, a hot single called Dangerous Game. Y'all check it out. Good old Jukebox. And she also got a whole album out.
Yeah,
So check out Jukebox. She has several musical projects out, but she has a couple albums out too, just as well. Last year and the year before, nothing currently with 2025 out, but
mhm.
check out the good Jukebox,
Well, listen,
Miss Haley
what
Kilgore.
Haley Kilgore. Marvin named her Juke. I'm calling her Juke, bro.
Jukebox.
That's Jukebox.
Yeah.
Marvin gave her that name. I'm not going to disrespect Marvin. That's my man.
That's
Mar.
that's that's cool. How
He's a big back and trained it.
oh man, and I seen
Mar
something
always
about
eating, man.
Always eating,
Always
man.
eating.
I seen something about that, and they asked him about that, and he said that he learned that in acting school to have something that when people see his character, they always can
Always
like
remember it.
yeah,
Associate.
put it with something,
Oh,
and
that's
that's what
nice.
he learned to do. And so no, he made that his thing.
Hmm.
So and I said, well, I'll be damned. It dang
Yeah.
sure works because we
Yeah.
look for him to see what he's eating each week.
Yeah.
It's a narrative outside the
Yes.
show, and it keeps us talking about him. And I said, that's genius.
Yes, sir.
That's genius. Not to mention, he probably could be doing like product placement with different companies.
Exactly. Yep.
Oh, I'm going, this and that and that. But like, fast shout out to everybody on there. Fast shout out to Haley Kilgore.
Yeah.
Fast shout out to all the sisters like Coco Jones,
Hmm.
Haley Kilgore, this multi-talented
Yes.
young women
Yes.
that's actresses, artists,
Yes, sir.
uh, uh, producers, all of that. So
Director.
yeah, fat shout out
Fat
to
shout
Black
to fat shout to
Excellence.
Ari Lennox. I was about to bring it up about some upcoming projects. Ari Lennox, she has an album that's due to be released spring summer 2025. Also, you got artists like the Love Jones Project, that was released in February, Valentine's Day 2025. So we got an abundance of R&B, good R&B music. If you're in the Afro breeze, they got artist Davido. He got an album coming out summer
That is
2025.
the Vito. I was
I
gonna
call him Davido.
messing that man's name up. Bill, what were you guys listening to this weekend? at the adult Sadie's Hawkins. I know that was a great old time.
And he
Oh
was a DJ.
man, the DJ was DJ Stan the Man, man.
And the man.
Yeah, he does it big, but man, it was like being in prom in the late '90s.
Mhm.
Oh, it was awesome, man. All the hits, whether it was Bad Boy or man, it was great time. They even had some DJ mixes, his own personal DJ mixes,
What's up?
Mhm.
and then me and my wife love to do all the line dances, man.
What's up,
So
man?
Boots on the Floor, the newest one out there. My wife put me on to that one. So anytime the line dancers get out there, I'm gonna get out there and cut a little rug with my wife. So it was great time.
Bill, your footwork is elite like
I
that.
still got elite footwork, man. Huh?
The Tamia one too.
A little bit. I got to give out shout out my wife Erica. Like she be on it, so she got to teach me, especially the newer one. She got to put me on. So I ain't still elite like I used to, but I still get out there. My shout out my sister Sharice and Buck Newell. They were there too. So yeah, we was cutting it up a little bit. Buck don't jump out there too much, but Buck want to do the two step. You know the old girl high two step. That's Buck. He too cool. He too cool to do the line dances. So.
Sir, I love it. I love it. Hey fam, only thing I'm doing is the electro slide.
Yep.
I can do what's the one song?
Wobble.
The wobble, yeah,
What?
sure. Thank you, thank you. Yep.
Shuffle.
Yeah, yes, I can.
Okay,
Yes,
so
I
yeah,
can.
it's funny.
Yes, I can. Yeah.
I noticed something as a DJ. If you play the extended version of Cupid Shuffle, people get mad at you. I play the 8 minute version so I can go use the restroom real quick. Maybe my dirty habit. Go hit a cigarette. I'm trying to quit again. Go out, come back. Everybody looking at me like, where was you at? You're supposed to cut this song off.
Oh my gosh. And now, the reason why we are on air
Yes, sir.
doing it big, you know, we do pretty good ourselves holding the show down. Now we could just go just he and I each week, but we don't do that. We like to bring people on, give them their flowers, show them love.
Indeed.
And so, with that being said, now it's part of the show. Well, that time for the part of the show, excuse my French, for Hickory's head coach, my brother, Fruit Ave,
Fruit Ave,
Fruit Ab in
Furrow
the house.
High.
Yes, sir.
500 block, baby.
Yes,
600,
sir.
500.
We have Coach Bill Dungee, graduated class of 2002, G up in the
2G
building,
in the building.
Furrow High, attended Allegheny College, where he was recruited to play football and basketball. Ended up only playing basketball. In 2004 25 to 2005, graduate assistant at Slippery Rock. Then from '05 to '06, assistant coach at Teal College basketball. From '06 to 2010, varsity assistant Farrell for basketball. Then 2011 and 2013, varsity assistant Farrell football, getting it in, wearing many and plenty hats. Then from 2013 to 2016, the offensive coordinator at none other than Farrell, still Farrell football. Then 2017 and 2018, the co-offensive coordinator over at Sharon, still getting it in, building a wonderful coaching resume.
Mm-hmm.
To 2019, when he got a call from up on the hill, and they called and said, "Hey, you come on up here and sting." And he said, "I'm on my way."
On my way.
2019 to right now, the head coach of the Hickory Hornets. We have my brother, the phenomenal great dad, great husband, uncle, brother, friend, church member, and everything else that he does. We'd like to welcome and bring to the show today none other than the good Coach Bill Dungee.
Yes,
Appreciate it.
sir.
Appreciate
Yes,
you guys.
sir.
Coming
Yes,
through, coach.
sir.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Love
Thank
everything
you.
you guys doing. Watch the show. You had my man Rich Gordon on, another class of 2G on in the past. So yeah, appreciate everything you guys doing. Thanks for having me on.
2G in the building. Let me
2G.
add 2G up in there.
2G.
Back to back 2G.
Coming up on our 25th class reunion. That's crazy, man. But yeah, class of 2G. Selfishly, or I guess we call it the best class of Farrell High ever. So
You said come out to it. I got to invite to the class reunion. You heard it here first. Y'all know I love a good class reunion. Hey, I'm there. Dude, I'm there.
We reporting live from the red carpet.
right.
Oh my! Before we go any further, we got to give love to our people that subscribe
Yes, sir.
and tune in every week. We greatly appreciate you for taking the time out, whether it's Monday night at 7 or it's early morning, Saturday morning at 10 o'clock. We greatly appreciate your time and for you taking out the time to tune in live.
Yes, sir.
Bubba, we love you. Brother, we greatly appreciate you.
That's y'all, bud.
You know, my cousin Gail. It's so many others that
That's
tune
y'all,
in.
Reg Davis.
Dr. Yarborough. Yeah, we love you. We greatly appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in. And look, y'all, we got it on shirts now. The Farrell Podcast, we are here to educate, motivate, inspire, and entertain. Because power to the people. When you see me, you see you. Love that Jay-Z bar.
Yes, sir. Definitely. And with that being said, Coach, I got one question. I got the first question for you, first and foremost. Um, and this is coming from a place of interest. How does your personal faith transfer over to you coaching these students on the field?
Great question. I think for me, my life revolves around faith, family, and football.
Yes,
It's
sir.
as simple as that. And I try to, everything I try to do, I try to lead by what I believe God has me to do, whether it's my purpose, how He wants me to act. I'm not perfect in that. Obviously, all of us make mistakes
Yes, sir.
every single day, but I love the t-shirts you guys put out there because is always projecting what's your message, what's your purpose, even for this podcast. So what I try to remind my players of what's our message and what's our purpose, even on the football field.
Mm-hmm.
Um, most of them will play football in high school. A small percentage will get an opportunity to play in college. Maybe one will eventually make it to the NFL. But what I'm teaching you is about life. It's less about playing the game of football. I read it in a book one time, and this has been my mantra, and I say this to my coaches every time we meet. If the greatest thing that we teach these young men is how to be better football players, we failed them as individuals. So my thing is, I want them to come back and say, "Well, man, Coach Dungee taught me how to be a better man. He taught me how to eventually be a husband. He taught me how to get a job and all that. That's the most important thing, and how to be a great leader." So that's what I'm trying to do there, because I also ultimately believe if I build leaders, I build great young men, we're going to have a better football team. Because at the end of the day, sports is about adversity, right? Everything's going to go well for a certain point, but then it's going to come down to, like we were in the District 10 championship last year. We're down, 8 points with, what was it, 48 seconds left. We got to go down and score and tie the game up and try to win this game. And that's happened many times. So it's about overcoming adversity,
Mm-hmm.
using the game of football to teach you things about life. And that's where what my focus is. So that's my hope. I get to meet with, over Christmas break, man, guys like Braxton Chapman, Jordan Townsend, I get to talk to Kai Wright, guys I've coached way back at Farrell, or guys I coached at, Sharon at different places. The biggest thing for me is when they come back and say, "Thank you, Coach Dunn. You had us prepared. You did this." And I'm not the only one, not saying I'm the only coach.
Uh-huh.
When they can come and tell me that I played a small portion or a small role and them being successful, that's the greatest feeling in the world. So I think that's a great question, but that's my ultimate thing. Yes, I want to win football games. I'm competitive like anybody else, but ultimately I understand my purpose is building young men and helping them to become the best versions of themselves. And that's what I'm trying to do.
Yes, sir.
Fam, what does STING stand for? You always got some good acronyms. I'm an acronym man myself.
I feel you on that.
What does STING stand for, and were you the creator of STING?
So I'm gonna give a little bit of credit. It was a joint venture. My man Joe Moss. He's a dear brother of mine. We went to the same church, and then he was my strength and conditioning coach my first year at Hickory, and so the back of our helmets were blank, and I wanted something back there that would you know tie into the Hornet, but
Right.
also be a representation of something. And so he came up with, I think, about three of the letters, the words for the letters, and I came up with the other two. But it stands for we want our players to be strong,
Mhm.
we want them to be tough, we want them to play with intensity, we want them to have nonstop grind. And so that's the sting there,
I
and
like
that's who they want to be. And we break on that. The guys understand that. And my thing though is I didn't want it to be lip service. I want them to really buy into that.
that.
And so that's the mantra of our program. We're going to be strong. We're going to be tough. We're going to play with intensity, and we're going to have nonstop grind. And then other part of that is our HD squared. So our formula for success is hard work plus dedication plus discipline equals success. And every kid who comes through the program, every coach, if they don't know nothing else, they know we're going to sting and we're going to, play. We're going to have a lot of hard work, dedication, and discipline. So,
That's dope.
I
Um,
like
we were talking about Shador Sanders.
yeah.
When you have a player that has supreme confidence and is coachable, how do you reel that confidence into a point to where that athlete is still going to be the best athlete, but still be able to interact with individuals outside of sports?
Good question. I've learned a long time. It's easier to reel somebody in than to hold them back.
Hmm.
So my thing is, especially when they're young, and I pride myself on this. If you watch us, I play a lot of freshmen. I don't care, because if they're talented enough, I want to get them out there and let them play with that confidence. So they're freshmen and sophomore year. You guys will tell. I don't do a whole lot of yelling and pulling a kid back when they're young. I let them kind of blossom into it. Now they know when they're junior and senior, now there's a lot of responsibility on them.
that.
Now I'm going to kind of reel it back a lot because now they're more of in a leadership role. So, kind of answer your question, I want to let them be as confident as possible. Go out, make mistakes, have extreme confidence, as long as you're not showing up your opponent or belittling your teammates.
Yeah,
That's the only thing I'm worried about. I want you to play with utmost confidence, because the thing is when somebody loses confidence, it's hard to get it back.
get it back. Yes, sir.
And every coach knows that. You can build up a kid as much as possible, but if they lose confidence in themselves or their teammates, you pretty much lost them. So I want them to be as confident as possible, but it's up to me as a coach. I'm the adult to show them how to maneuver in that confidence. Because as a young man, you just think, hey, I got testosterone's going. I'm gonna do this. It's up to us as the adults to kind of direct them. And back to Shador, that's why I was a little disappointed because it's still a 22-year-old young man,
Yes, sir.
and all of us know how we were at 22.
Right.
Now take us 22 and give you $6 million.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, how much different would you be at 22 years old and you already rich? So it's up to the adults. And I think sometimes we look at young men or kids and we want them to be adults. No, we're the adults.
Hmm.
We're supposed to train them and direct them, not the other way around. So I think that's important. Let them have their confidence, try to build that confidence even more, but also give them some direction on how to maneuver, and whether it's sports, life, whatever it may be.
Yes, sir.
Phil, at the school now, isn't your title a financial officer or business type
Yeah.
of thing?
Yeah, so I don't work for Hickory. I work for Penn State University. So I actually have two offices. I work here in Sharon at the Shenango office, but then I also on Tuesdays and Thursdays I work down in Beaver at the Beaver campus down in Center,
Hmm.
PA. So yeah, my title is Regional Director of Finance, and long story short, I basically just handle the money, the bills, and stuff for the campus. So.
Okay, so with that being said, and you have extensive knowledge in that, obviously you went to school. How could you and do you have you started to talk to the players as far as okay, when you go to college and you get this, that, and the third, and you get here and they got these NIL deals, are you giving guys information and insight and preparing them for that level of,
So not necessarily NIL. Hopefully we have some really good young men who are now going to be given some opportunities through recruitment to possibly get some big NIL deals as they go on.
Hmm.
So you bring up a great point, Mont P. I'm probably going to have to do more educating on that. I haven't. recently had anybody at that level where they're chiming in or cashing in on some big NIL, but I do talk to them about majors and about student loans and taking the best role. Sometimes young men think of everything's just D1, D1, D1,
Yep.
and it's great. I want everybody to strive for the highest level. But shout out to Kylan Wilson. I love what Kylan did, and I think he's a great example of young men around here. Maybe you don't get the offer coming out of high school that you dreamed of. Take that D2 offer because they're giving you money
Yep.
and show everybody how good you are. And then the
Mhm.
D1 opportunity is going to present itself. So shout out Kylan Wilson. I thought he did a phenomenal job of that. Don't pass up free money to chase an ultimate dream to where you may have to take out student loans and stuff. And at the end of the day, you got to pay that money back. So it's more about educating my young men on the opportunities they have presented to them. Take the opportunity wherever you get the most money. That's probably the best opportunity for you. And if you think that you can play at a higher level, show it at that level because nowadays it don't matter, man. It's not like when we grew up, you didn't have social media to post your highlights and throw it on Twitter. Now it doesn't matter where you at. You can get seen and you can move up the ladder through the transfer portal and stuff. So to your point, Ma, is more about educating them on financial literacy, how to handle it, and really about being a good young man. We even talk about, when homecoming and prom come around, we talk about what it means that no means no, and how you
Yeah.
you you deal with young ladies and all that, and how you're going out representing yourself and drinking and smoking and all these other temptations that come on young men. We have real conversations about that, and I bring different speakers in so that they're just not hearing my voice all the time, that they can hear the perspective of different individuals. But I think that's a great question there. Not necessarily NIL, but I do try to educate them financially, though.
And before we go any further about Kylan Wilson, fat shout out to Kylan Wilson for
Yes, sir.
also having the courage and heart to see that that wasn't a good fit for him where he was at. He wasn't getting the playing time that he worked to earn, and so he had the courage to move and go to another school, which is Wise Shoe. Fat shout out to Wise Shoe
Yes, sir.
Penguins.
Yes, sir.
For Brandon Chambers is there too. And fat shout
Hey,
out to
yeah.
all the kids from our community that was already there and have just got there. So fat shout out to you guys.
Yes, for sure. And I think it's important, like you said, everybody, whether it's JUCO, Division 3, Division 2, Division 1, myself, I played Division 3, but I got almost a free education out of it. And the thing about it is sports provides opportunity. I'm gonna be honest. Like, neither one of my parents went to college. Like coming out, the only reason I originally went to college is because I wanted to continue playing sports.
Mhm.
That was, and that's the extent for a lot of kids. They don't see the future of jobs and stuff like that. It's like I enjoy being a basketball player. I enjoy football, track, whatever it may be. Use that sport to give yourself an opportunity to go to a school. Now it can open up a whole new world for it. Because I think sometimes we put so much onus on Division 1. Everybody ain't gonna be a Division 1, man. Take that scholarship that you have to a JUCO Division 3, whatever it may be. Maybe it's not sports. It could be military. It could be trade school.
Mhm.
Man, just further your education to be the best version of yourself. And that's what I try to preach to all of my kids. I got kids now that's going right into trades, making great money. They're going into the military. It may not just be they're going to be football players. It's just trying to be the best individual that they can be. And that's what I try to promote to them.
That's
Excellent.
that's what I always say is dope about coaches. You have a direct influence
Yes.
on the next generation, and that's dope. But one of the things I want to know is great coaches always push their players. How do you push your players without pushing them to the point of burnout?
Yeah.
Because I've seen that in sports
Ooh,
before.
that's a great question. I think as a head coach, you depend on your assistant coaches.
Yes, sir.
I only know it one way. Like I coach hard.
Mhm.
I coach with love, but I coach hard. I'm gonna yell. I'm gonna get after it. Me and Coach Amp see things the same way. Football is 12 months out of the year. That's the only way I know it. The only time we get off, I think we lost the last week in November this year in the state quarterfinals. We give them off through New Year, and then we're back in the weight room.
Mhm.
And some kids don't like that. You lose some kids because of that. But if you want to be great, I think in anything with your podcast. You guys didn't just show up when the podcast started. There's a lot of work that goes into that,
Get into it.
and it's in everything. So I think
Seamless work.
I think you hit the when you asked the question. For me, is I coach a certain way, but then you have to have different personalities on your coaching staff, so they know when I'm getting on a kid. They're not going to circumvent what I'm doing, but coach may grab them. Hey, let me talk to you. And when I'm yelling, then they may come over and just build them back up.
Hmm.
Or then when they yell at him, it may be my opportunity now to get them. But anytime I get on a kid, I'm always going to circle back and then teach them. Because at the end of the day, if I just yell at them and they didn't learn anything, it's my yelling is pointless.
Yeah.
But I coach hard, and I want things. I'm a perfectionist in myself, and I hold myself to a certain standard, and I hold my players to that same standard. And now, but they understand it's not. I'm not looking for perfection. I'm looking for excellence. And what's the difference? You can be perfect in your effort. And that's what I ask of them. You may not do everything perfectly, but you can give me perfect effort every single time. But my players know I'm gonna be perfect in my effort. I'm gonna show up every day prepared, and I'm gonna give them 110% in my effort, and that's what I ask for them. So that's where the balance comes in, is depending on your coaching staff and just making sure at the end of the day did they learn something.
Yes, sir. That whole statement was a bar right there.
Yeah.
Like, that was a bar.
And then something kind of personal, but it's public. Would they catch who did that to the damn field? And why don't they have cameras up there? At Farrell, we got cameras. On bust any culprit who even look like they're doing something wrong
Mhm.
in that stadium. But what
So
happened?
so there are cameras in certain spots,
Oh,
and at certain times. So I don't want to give all of that information
right, right,
away.
right.
Yeah,
True.
yeah, yeah.
But as far as they have identified people, and they will be handled accordingly. Um, it's
Census.
yeah, it's senseless there. They were trying to send a message or whatever there. There's better ways to get your message across, but luckily they were able to get everything cleaned up. We were on the field yesterday. Everything looks great. So thanking God for that.
Yeah, yeah. And other than obviously your father, what other coaches would you say inspired you and influenced and or motivated you to become a coach and keep going?
Oh, that's great. I think it starts back. Probably the first coach that really inspired me, and to be honest, is Coach Paulie Samuels. Both the dad and the son, man. Like, man, sixth grade basketball, man. Like, I mean, we got after it. Like, they worked us, and then seventh grade, eighth grade, those were two there. I really got a lot of respect. Like, it's like Coach Paul, I still see him to this day, and he like, man, I ain't no coach no more. And I'm like, man, you still my coach. But like, shout out Coach E, man. All those cats, like when we were young, when you first learning how to compete, like that Farrell Highway, and we weren't even in high school then. It was just compete, man. Like, it's just creating dogs. So that was first. I think as an adult. My namesake, Coach Tony Dungy, I read a lot of stuff that he does. Quiet Strength, there's a great book by him.
Mhm.
But here locally, surprisingly, man, Jim Woutman. I coached under Coach Jim Woutman for 2 years. I did not know this cat from I knew of him, but I had never met him. I went over to a coach over there in Sharon, man. He still mentors me to this day. And then shout out Coach Jarrett Samuels, man. You guys had him on a little bit a while ago. Shout out to him. He's a Hall of Fame coach. He really gave me my first opportunity. As you kind of read the profile, I played, high school football, played football all the way coming up. When I went to Allegheny, um, the coaches tell you can play both sports.
Mm-hmm.
It really ain't reality. My freshman year, I was able to start on basketball, and my basketball coach basically told me, "You won't continue starting if you're going to try to play both sports." So I was done with football, but I've loved football. My family will tell you that's been my number one sport all along. I played basketball, but I've always loved football. So when I got back to Farrell, after coaching at Slippery Rock University in Teal, I helped out with Coach Shannon House. I helped out with basketball,
Mhm.
but I was still hanging around the football program even when Coach Falcone finished up. And then Coach Jarrett gave me my first opportunity to actually coach. And he could have said, "Man, Dunge, you a basketball guy. What do you?" But he knew like I was going to grind at it. I studied it, and I went to coaching clinics. I mean, I really grinded to really learn the game of football, and Coach Jay gave me that first opportunity. So really, right now, those are two mentors. I have some guys at college that help me out a lot, But shout out Coach Jay and Coach Jim Wildman. They do a great job, man. Like even to this day, I call them up. And just ask them for experience when you're going through different things, or hey, how would you approach this? And they give me, hey, coach, I would do this or do that. So really, those are two mentors of mine right now.
That was dope. But you knew football a long time ago because we had said pre-show that you was the plug, you was the connect, you and your brother. Saved people a lot of money on having to go buy new PlayStation 2 games. They were making the rosters for the memory cards for
Yes.
PlayStation, the original PlayStation, I
Yep.
think, or it might have been the two. I think
It
might have
started
been
with the original
original. Yeah,
PlayStation, and it's so funny you remember that, man. I put in hours. We would get the old Streets and Smith magazines. Cats don't even know about them,
Yeah.
and
and
I had to enter those names in manually,
manually
manually
with the remote.
with the, and then you save it to your memory card, and then it started on PS1, and then when we worked up to PS2,
Yeah,
and then all the way to PS3, and then I was selling those, grinding and charging people to get the rosters. Man, you was one of my
and yeah,
first
was one of your
customers.
customers
Yes.
was it was Fat Shout, Mikey Sanders. Mikey Sanders came
Yes.
on to it. He was
Oh
like,
man.
eh,
I was selling.
he
I was
said, "Hey, Rich, you could go right up the street, and they the Dungeons will take care of you, man. You ain't even got to buy the new game." And I was like, "Yo, that was crucial because at that time,
I was updating the
oh
rosters,
yeah,
man.
that was clutch. So
Yeah.
that's a testament not only to your football acumen and coaching, but your business acumen.
Yes.
You have
Yes.
always been business minded.
Yes. Trying to make a dollar, man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so fam, what's the story from your career that shows the payoff of a strong work ethic in football?
Hmm. Good question. I would say, to be honest, my nephew Malachi Newell, man. I watched this kid set his mind in ninth grade, and I tell my son about this. In ninth grade, Mally was like 5'9", 140 pounds, playing middle linebacker.
Mhm.
And I remember him telling me, his dad, Coach Jan, he wanted to play Division I football. And I watched him go from 140 to 165 to 185 to 205. And the dude just grinded. I mean, eating, running, like whether he was working out with Coach Amo to going to Terry Grissetti's to extra sprinting. Man, the dude just turned himself into a Division I football player. And so like I look at him and I tell Mally, you motivated me as a coach. I watched Braxton Chapman, all these different ones,
Yeah.
like they set their mind towards being Division I football players and playing at the highest level, and then they just went out and worked. They didn't sit there, and Malachi didn't have an offer until after his senior year, and that's what a lot of people don't understand there. And he was a little discouraged with that, but then all you need is one opportunity.
Yeah.
And he was presented that opportunity. So, like to me, that's one of them. I've seen so many, but obviously my family and knowing the ins and out of the work that he put in. Malachi he's an inspiration as a coach. That's a big thing when one of your players can inspire you.
Mhm.
It just furthers like your passion to help young men. So yeah, man, Mally did that thing and he grinded through that. And then even in college, he did go through injury and fight back. Yeah, he just grinded through it. So that inspires me, even as a coach, to see what he did.
Yes, sir. I think this.
One of our potential guests coming on,
Mhm.
Mally. We already told Mally he's coming.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think that's a testament to parenting too.
Yes, for sure.
He comes from good stock.
Yes.
I'm just saying, like, so how would you take and utilize that practice of involving the parents in the importance of hard work and the education and development of the football player?
It's huge. Even when I got to Hickory, I had a certain player, I'm not gonna say his name, but he had a well-to-do family. Um, and his older sibling had already made him a name for himself at the Division I level. And so when I went in there, I didn't know him. And as a coach, you wonder how a player is gonna be. When I met his parents, I knew that I would be able to coach this kid really hard
Hmm.
because they were hard on him. And
Mhm.
so what it showed me, starting right off, is if your parents have already set kind of the boundaries and the thresholds for this is the standard of hard work we expect from you at home, it's so much easier as a coach for me to coach you. Because I know when I get on you, Mont P, you're going to be fine because you're already getting it at home.
Mhm.
And then furthermore, it's the support of the parents. So when I walk off the field and I'm maybe getting on your son, it's like the parents are going to get on them worse because they know I'm not doing it from a place where I don't like their kid or I'm just belittling him. Everything's out of love and everything is geared towards making them the best version of themselves, and they respect me for that. So I think that I mean that's a great question. I think every parent out there, if you want the best for your kid, support your coaches, man, and tell your coach them as hard as possible because every great coach, they're coaching that kid to be the best version of themselves. They're not doing it to belittle them or to put them down. They see something inside that kid and they're trying to pull that out of them. And you can only do that through tough love and tough coaching.
Yes, sir. Because I've noticed it when I had my tenure up at the high school. I had the pleasure of, I always say the pleasure, cleaning the EJ, and after the home games of the football, you get to
Yes.
watch good sports. But not only that, that's lore. Like Will Chamberlain played up there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But you would see things like from a custodial standpoint, you would see parents that would come up there after practice, argue with the coach. Because why ain't my son getting played?
Yeah.
Obviously, the coach is not going to withhold talent because the coach wants to win.
Every coach
But
wants to
he's trying
win.
to teach that student a lesson
Yes.
as it pertains to team above self.
That yeah.
I've seen it on many occasions.
100%. And like you said, every coach at the bottom line, we're competitors.
Yeah.
Like we want to win. So if your son or daughter can help us win, we
Mhm.
want to play that. But also, you have to keep in mind the structure of the team.
Yes.
And there's a role. Everybody can't be the star. Everybody can't be the star. There's roles in every team, whether it's football, baseball, whatever. So you have to find a role. And sometimes your child fits a support role better than they do a lead role. And some parents, don't accept that. And really, me and Myron, Coach Myron Lowe, shout out to him. We were talking about this a couple days ago just through text. Is that that's the toughest thing is just getting parents to understand like we want what's best for your child, but also as a coach, in football, we got 50, 60 young men we got to worry about. So I can't give too much energy to one individual because I got to worry about all these and I got to do what's best for the team. And I think if parents really understand that, and that's why it's so good when you coach kids whose parents have coached at some level,
Mhm.
whether it's Pee Wee, they understand about putting a team together and they really understand, okay, Coach Dungee's trying to do his best. But I think it's also about what we're doing right now is dialogue and communication. And, I try to meet with all the parents before the season and just give them the rules and how I approach it. If your son isn't playing, it's because of number one, they're probably not the best player for the job, but number two, there could be some things in practice and preparation and being in the weight room that they're not doing. So really ask them what they're not
Not
doing
doing.
because if they're one of the best 11 on offense, defense, or special teams, they will be out there.
So with all this 7-on-7, and then you might have a kid that's doing this and extra. So with that going on, how are you treating it? You know what I mean? Because it's been situations where they're supposed to be in practice or could be in practice, and that's taken away because they shooting down to one of these hot states to do this AAU football 7-on-7 thing. How do you view that?
It's a great question. I didn't know how big the 7-on-7 was. And my son is a part of the 412 now, and he basically got his first offer through 7-on-7.
Mm.
And that's how big it is. So
Oh,
I think there has to be a balance because it's great opportunity if you're a part of the right programs. Now it's just like anything. AAU is so big now. Some people are just throwing away money and you're not getting any exposure. But there are certain programs where they are providing exposure.
okay.
I do think if you're a part of a team, that team comes first. And I can give you an example. My son runs track too, so his 7-on-7 interferes with track. So I did have the conversation with the track coach, letting him know football is his number one sport. He
Oh,
is committed to track, but there are going to be times on the weekend where it conflicts. Like last weekend, my son did have to miss a 7-on-7 tournament because they had the Hermitage Invitational. And I told my son, Christian, like, your first priority, this is the Hermitage Invitational. You can't skip out on this
Mhm.
and go to 412. So he did miss a 7-on-7, but there are some track meets that he did miss. So I think it's balance. I think it's communication. And I think you have to have that conversation ahead of time with your coach. And what I try to do, Hickory's We got a lot of sports. We got 22 varsity sports. We got a lot. So I mean, I got kids right now. I got kids playing lacrosse, track, baseball, and I still want them in the weight room. Can't do all that.
Right.
So when I talk to them, I talk to their parents. It's all about communication, and it's about having a conversation. Like I got some really good football players. I got a really good running back. His number one sport is track. He just got an offer from Army. Army just offered him for track. So I got to be cognizant that he's going to miss some football stuff in the offseason because his number one sport is track. And as a coach, I got to help facilitate that.
Right.
Then on the other end, a kid who maybe plays basketball, his number one sport may be basketball. All I ask is during the season, you're committed. In the off season, I know you're not going to be able to be at every football, but once again, it's communication and it's really just talking to the parents. When I need you here, I need you here because I never want to hold back a kid. I played football, basketball, baseball, everything. So I encourage them. I think it makes them a better athlete, but there also has to be some level of commitment to the team and to the coach.
And with an open conversation and dialogue amongst coaches as well,
Yes.
and a healthy understanding, and
You're
all the
100%
coaches understand like it may be some sacrifice either
Yeah.
for me or for you, and yeah, I get
No, I've had conversations, with the track coach, with the basketball coach, because there's a particular kid. I don't want him to quit football, but I know he's being pulled in a certain way. But you're 100% right.
right.
We can sit down, go to lunch or something. How can we make this work? Because it's not fair to the kid that he should have to choose a sport in high school because us adults can't have a conversation.
And
You
compromise.
can't compromise. Thank you. That's the word I
Yes,
was
sir.
looking for. But yeah, and then sometimes it may not work. And most of the times where it won't work is because, the parents say, hey, we really want this kid. He's going to do this year round. And then I can respect that. But you're 100% right. It has to be communication, conversation, and then compromise. I think we just put a nice little C together: communication, um, um, compromise,
Compromise.
and then cooperation.
Yes,
So,
sir.
yeah.
Heck shit. And fam, when we have people on, we like to give them guests or give our guests their gifts, and
Appreciate it.
come on home.
Right. Oh man, good one there.
I'm so sorry.
I appreciate you, man. Appreciate you.
This time, Coach, we ask our guest this
Yeah.
question, our guest host, because you hosted this show today.
Yes, you did.
Um, if you had a time machine or the ability to go back in
Mhm.
the past and talk to your 16-year-old self,
Wow.
what would be 3 key words of advice you would give yourself about the future?
Man, man. All right, this is going to be controversial, but I'm going to say this. 16-year-old Bill Dungee don't have no girlfriend. Focus on your future. I'm not saying don't chill with girls and stuff,
Yeah,
but I think you give a lot of your energy in high school to the opposite sex. And it just kind of drains you of really just attacking your goals and missions in life. I think you got time for that. And luckily, I'm not talking about my wife. Me and my wife started dating well after high school, but it's really just focusing in high school on what you want to accomplish. So 16-year-old Bill Dungee, no girlfriend. Focus on what you want to do. Number two, man, um, I think I would have listened to my mom a little bit more as far as my relationship with God and my commitment to Jesus Christ.
hmm
I think at that time, I really at around 16, I was trying to get away from the church because it's no secret, grew up in the church. My mom, I wasn't missing no church. My mom was strict on us, but I now see the benefit of what she instilled in me and what that has done for my life. And I think it could have helped me through some things that I went through in high school, and especially in college, if I was more serious about my walk, my Christian walk then. So that would have been number two. And number three, um, so coming out of high school, I had academic scholarships to Pitt, Ohio State, a bunch of other schools, but I wanted to play sport. And I wasn't good enough, obviously, to play at Pitt or Ohio State. But my dad told me, he was like, go to Ohio State. Go to Ohio State. If I had to do it over, I would have took the chance and just went to Ohio State and took that opportunity there because I think it would have opened up even more I'm not. I don't regret where I went, but if I had to do it over, I think
Regret.
I would have redid and listened to my dad there. He tried to push me to go there. So those are three things. Those are the three big things I would have did. So
Yeah, I
that's
can get
me.
the Ohio State thing
All right.
because I went to Penn Station and go, love the school,
Yeah.
love the campus. I got my associates. I should have stayed, like you said, I should have listened to Ma Dukes, not got married, then got divorced 8 months later, finished my college degree and got my bachelor's.
Mhm.
No, I wanted to do what I wanted to do.
Mhm.
And if I would have listened to her advice, it would have saved me. But my cousin Erica tried to get me to go to Ohio State. She said, come on. She said, Corey's down there, Corey Stringer. She
Mhm.
graduated with Corey. And then she said, you know, Lorenzo's down there. We live down here. You can move in with it. I should have listened to him and went to Ohio State, man. But
It's just so much. Some of those bigger schools give you a lot more opportunity in
yeah,
a big city like Columbus. I just look at that, but our past is the past that God has for us, and I don't regret anything,
yes, sir.
now. But if I could go back to 16 and change it, I think I may do that. So, but I wouldn't be able to meet my wife probably there and have the children I have. So everything happens for a reason. So
Indeed.
yeah,
And fast shout out, peace and love to our brother. We love you, bro. R.I.P. Rest up.
BK all day, baby.
Shout out to BK, your brother,
BK, my brother,
your
man,
brother.
man, I was hurt. Class of 2G.
Yep.
I mean that you talk about a brother since second grade, man. Previous before moving to 500 block fruit, we lived on the 600 block of Hamilton, and even from that standpoint, we had our bus stop was right on Hamilton and Negley, right where Coach Amp grew up there,
Mhm.
and that's where I first met BK, man. And we would sit up there, we would rap, we would talk about every man. That
Yeah.
was my guy, man. So
Oh,
R.I.P. Man. That one hurt.
yes, sir.
But
Coolest ever.
shout out my man Marcus Wright. It's his birthday today.
Oh,
He was part of
Mark.
2G BMW. You got a little older, so BMWs is Brian Marcus and William. We held it down. So that's a whole nother story. But yeah, that was our brother in high school, man. If you saw Brian BK, you saw me and Marcus. So
99 says they was the last of a great generation, but 2000 always say they was the first of a great
yes,
generation. So it's
yes.
always that battle between 99 and
In
2000.
2000, yep, yep.
Much love to our brother, good Keegan,
Yes,
DJ
sir.
KB, one of
KB.
the best
KB,
to ever
yes.
do it. I'm still doing it.
Yes.
Much love.
That's out.
Yeah.
Y'all get time. Y'all go out to Union, support Union this upcoming show. KB got a show down in the Berg and it's gonna be lit. Unfortunately, I ain't gonna be able to make it because my knee is the size of my thigh. So yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Heck, shit, the homie Mike Marsh said, "What up, Bill?
Oh, Mike Marsh, that's my man.
What up,
That's my man.
Mike?"
That's the coolest dude you'll ever meet. Mike Marsh.
That's shout Mike.
I ain't never he's so laid back. I ain't never seen him rattle.
No.
He just cool. That's my man, Mike Marsh.
Yes, yes, good old Mike Marsh, cooler than the other side of the pillow.
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Scott would say, "Yes, sir." Love it.
It was dope to see the brother when we went out. Fast out my cousin Keisha Johnson, Rick Johnson. We went out for Keisha's birthday this past year in January, and I bumped into Mike. Somebody was calling me, and you hear somebody calling the name. Hey, Rich. They got to be like at least 2 or 3 Riches there. Ain't nobody talking to me. And it was Mike Marsh. He shouted me out,
Yeah.
man.
Heck, shit, Double M, good Mike Marsh.
Yes,
He
sir.
was the inspiration. Well, he really put the battery in my back to get the podcast started and everything. He kept saying, "Come on, everybody, Farrell message you this and that." And then he had the uh, religiously incorrect
Yes.
Yes, sir.
part.
Yes.
He
Podcast.
had them, but brother Todd Johnson and brother Jeff Stanford,
Yes,
two
sir.
great, phenomenal guys, incredible pastors. And then he was like, check that out and this and that, and and then here we are today. So fast shout out to Mike
Mike, a
Marsh,
bad boy, man.
put
Yes,
the
Yeah.
sir.
battery in our back. Much love, smooth, tall Mike, brother Mike Lowry. And Bill, we greatly appreciate you, brother, for coming on the show.
Indeed.
And one thing before I leave, too, um, about these rivalries. Now, because who would you say might be one of y'all's biggest rivalries without offending the other team? Because some would say it's Hickory and Sharon. Some would say that Furrow and Hickory is building.
Yeah. No, I think you described it perfectly. If you go to Hickory though, And I'm gonna get in trouble with my players because I've said that name a couple times. We called them the team over there when we're referring to the Tigers. That's the
Seen
biggest.
that.
That's the biggest rivalry. Because
Seen that.
here's the difference, and I explain it to people like this:
Seen
they
that.
play each other in every single sport.
Sport.
It's tennis, it's
Excellent.
basketball, it's
Okay.
wrestling. It's
Understand.
that's the difference.
Okay.
Now you talk about like the big sports, basketball and football. I mean that Farrell Hickory rivalry, and obviously me and my brother Amp, like we grew up together. And shout out Amp, like he literally. You talk about my love for football. Behind the church down on the old Greater Mount Zion down on Fruit,
Yes,
like
sir.
that's where we was built. Like
Or
and
in the field
we're in
across
the
the
field.
street from your house, the
Yes,
Canes, next to the Canes
yes.
house.
And
Yeah.
and Coach Amp and them used to like we were 4 or 5 years young. They didn't take it easy on us. So like they developed that love for football for us. But that's my brother. But when it's time to play, like he trying to destroy me, I'm trying to destroy him, going back and forth. So there's great rivalries there. But I didn't understand until I got to Hickory and I was at over with the Tigers. It's different. Of course, your son played over there. That rivalry there is different, and a lot of those people that's been a rivalry for 50 years. They've been going at it.
Listen,
So like Hickory
uh,
team over there rivalry, it's legit. It's legit.
Brian Phillips said, I mean, a Tiger alumni. He said it ain't no rivalry because Sharon has owned them. He said Hickory got to be a little bit more on the winning side for it to be considered a rivalry. But that was, a
I think folks
conversation
think
of the
differently.
old.
Yeah, yeah, and he's talking about the older. Uh, since I've been there, we got to win a record against them.
Yes, sir.
And in the ones that count in the playoffs, we are 3-0.
Ooh,
So, and that's no shade, but that's just how it is. So, and I know BP, that's my boy, Mike Roberson, all those old Tigers, they got mad respect because they did it for years. But
Yeah.
um, we doing it now, and we've earned it. It's a great rivalry. As far as what I've seen, it's heated. They get after it. They do the whole social media stuff with it. It's fun, and we respect it. I
Mhm.
coach with Coach McElhaney over there, so I got great deal of respect. But it is, I mean, that week I ain't getting a lot of sleep because I wanna beat them. Just because I know a lot of those guys over there, and I grew up Farrell High. We were bred to not like them Tigers, so
Yeah.
it was easy for me. When I put on the red and black, I got to go back to not liking those Tigers. So
that's
I said
right.
the
That's right.
Steelers and Hornets is sort of like against Sharon. It's sort of like how we root for the Steelers to lose and the Ravens to lose.
yes,
That's us.
exactly,
That's fair. That's
exactly,
fair.
for
That's fair.
sure.
That's right. So you hear it here first. Johnny Lippman, get you some. Young, here we are. Hickory stained now in the face. You know what I mean? But it was great having you on,
Thank you
Bill.
so much.
We
Appreciate
greatly
you guys.
appreciate you.
Don't, be,
And
don't let it be the last time, though. You
Nah,
come back
man.
through and visit.
Anytime, man. You guys, we talked about before the show started, what you guys doing, just the dialect and the variety of different topics that you guys hit on, and just creating conversation and dialogue. That's what's important, especially nowadays. So many people are divided. They have disagreements on whether it's politics or whatever it may be, and people go their separate ways. I think what you guys are doing as far as creating a avenue for people just to have discussions and dialect about this is great. So hats off to you guys. Thanks for having me on, man. Farrell Podcast, doing it big, man. So
Appreciate you, Coach.
yes, sir.
thank you, Bill. We greatly appreciate you for coming on. And I'm gonna let these guys wrap it on up so they can go see their calf.
Go Cavs, baby.
See, you held us a little bit.
Yeah.
You held us a little bit longer.
I'm recording this. So I already told my son, don't be texting me. I'm recording. I'll jump on when I get back. So
Thank you guys for tuning in to another great, phenomenal, incredible, sensational
Super.
episode of the Furrow Podcast. I am the leader of the Ballhead Nation, the mayor, the landlord, Mark P.
And it's your man, DJ Rich Snacks, the man with all the snacks, the biggest bag in America, and the fat ambassador. Thank y'all for tuning in.
Thank
Good
you.
night. God bless.
Thank
God
you.
bless. God
Peace.
bless.